I'll declare the meeting open and I will call for apologies and leaves of absence. We have one apology from Councillor Steve Mears. Could I have someone move we accept that? All those in favour say aye. Councillors, we'll move to item 2 on the agenda, community consultation. Councillors, we have one speaker tonight on 7.1, release and restriction on the use of land, Steve Barr. Steve, would you like to come to the microphone and state your case? Being a development matter, you might just state whether or not you've ever made any contributions to any of the councillors or staff.
Thank you. No, I've never made any.
Thank you.
So,
Oh.
all right, all good. Mr Mayor, councillors and staff, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name's Stephen Barr. I'm a Director of Barr Planning. I'm a registered planner with more than 25 years of experience. The application before you tonight represents a significant step for the overall development of the Gunnaganoo Road commercial precinct, and it's also the realisation of the first few steps of significant investment for the site as it moved towards full development. This is a significant vote of confidence in Tamworth and also this site, a development to support the growing community of Tamworth. The subdivision of the site was approved in October 2023. This included 35 lots and all of the infrastructure to support the delivery of these lots, including roads, drainage, electrical networks and of course intersections to access the new lots to be created. The subdivision will need to be finished before any of these new buildings can be finished, which is why there is so much work on the site now to have the subdivision complete and allow the future development to continue. It's expected that there will be at least another 30 applications coming for future developments on this site, representing around 400 million invested into Tamworth and also providing services for the residents of Tamworth themselves. The application before you is for 4 premises, 2 for specialised retail like bulky goods and 2 for shops, which would be a future retail use. In the scheme of the total approved subdivision, this site represents approximately 5% of the area of the total commercial land holdings in the subdivision. However, this development is being burdened with substantial costs of upgrading the intersection for the whole subdivision and the construction of pedestrian lights across Gunnaganoo Road. These matters should have been resolved either via the proposed upgrades to the highway by Transport for New South Wales or at the time the subdivision was approved for the whole site. Putting these costs on the individual lots increases uncertainty for investors through the growth of the subdivision. What other costs could future investors be levied with, which are unrelated to future developments, will be the question that investors will be asking. This is similar to asking a single homeowner in a subdivision to pay for a park or to build a new intersection. It just would never happen, as it would mean that housing could not be delivered. The infrastructure in a residential area needs to be spread across all users to share the cost fairly and ensure that key infrastructure is delivered. The same principle should be used for key infrastructure in this area. The cost should be spread across all users and beneficiaries to make it fair and to ensure that the infrastructure is delivered. While we support the need to approve the application before you tonight due to the tight timeframes involved, the process of lumping key infrastructure on a single development undermines confidence in the development of each of the proposed lots of the site and creates significant delays for development. The planning system is not designed for a single development to bear all of the costs of infrastructure that support many. There are better ways of achieving the funding and delivery of key infrastructure without undermining the confidence in individual developments. I would encourage the Council to support the application, however remain open as to further discussions to determine how infrastructure is delivered without burdening and undermining single development applications, particularly in this part of Tamworth as it grows. Thank you very much for your time tonight and the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve, for your presentation. Councillors, that brings the end of community consultation. We'll move on to the next item, which is item 3, minutes from previous meeting. We don't have any
minutes attached. Were the minutes sent out with the agenda with this? Yep.
No. Councillors,
We'll do that at the 29th.
we'll do that on Tuesday night because we haven't had an extraordinary meeting for some time. Item 4, disclosure of interest. Do we have some disclosures of interest? Councillor North.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'd just like to declare a, just give me one moment, sorry. Item 7.1 for the DA or for item 7.1, non-pecuniary, non-significant interest, just on the possibilities there may be supermarket or grocery stores in that area. I'm not aware of any in particular for this development, but I will stay in the room and vote, but just...
Thank you, Councillor North.
Also, sorry, Mr Mayor, item 12.2 for the changing of the lease in closed council. I will have a pecuniary interest there. The leaseholders are very good customers of mine. I'll exclude myself from the room.
Thank you, Councillor North. We'll record those disclosures. Any other disclosures of interest? There being no other disclosures of interest, I'll move on to item 5, mayoral minute. There is no mayoral minute. I'll go straight to item 6, notices of motion. There are no notices of motion. Councillors will go straight into open council reports. And we'll move to item 7, environment and planning. We have one report, 7.1. May I get a mover and a seconder, please? Move Councillor Sharpen. You wishing to move that? Ned, did you want to move that with what we spoke about earlier? So pardon?
I can't remember the exact items, but yes.
So Councillor Sharpen, do you want to move the recommendation partly as printed, but with the changing of items 17, 18, 65 and the addition of 65A? Do you want to move that recommendation as printed but with those changes? Would you like to move that?
That's exactly how I'd like to move it.
Thank you. May I have a seconder for that? Councillor Sutherland. Councillor Sharpen, do you wish to speak to that?
I think I'll reserve the right at this stage.
Anyone wish to speak against that recommendation? Any further comments on that recommendation? Councillor Rodder.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just in relation to the drainage issue, potential issues or detention of water into Barnes Gully, a few weeks ago when we had a significant rain event, there was significant rain waters travelling down Barnes Gully, and I noted that around Mullumbimby Close there was a house inundated by waters there. Largely, I thought, because of the reeds that were growing in the actual water course, and I know that historically we've spoken about this in relation to Timbumbura Creek historically, but in relation to this development, is it considered that rainwater could present a problem further down to residences adjoining Barnes Gully, particularly, say, around that little lagoon around Scott Road?
Councillor Rodder, it's rather ironic that you asked that question tonight because only in the last 2 days I've raised a matter with both engineering and water in relation to the tidying up of that particular piece of land that we now own. I think I'm correct in saying that. We've purchased that piece of land recently and we were going to put in place a management plan. So what you're talking about will hopefully be no longer a problem into the future, because at the moment it is what you might call a bit of a mess with all of the reeds and so forth. So, Councillor Rodder, I've spoken with our Director Peter Resch and our Acting Director Naomi only again today about some activities that we can get involved in and starting to tidy that up and prevent that from happening. So I hope that satisfies you, because it worried me too. Further comments, councillors? Councillor Impey.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. There we go. Just an observation, really, and that is one of the changes, item 17B,
that the traffic modelling indicates that the current proposed dual lane roundabout is not sufficient to achieve the required performance outcomes. Hopefully that's not a suggestion that 2 lanes won't be sufficient, and we might have to widen that to 3 lanes in that particular part of Tamworth, because it's taken us a long time just to get 2 lanes. As we know, that part of the New England Highway, or Gunnaganu Road, has been a long time coming in terms of the divided roadway from Kalala Lane to Greg Norman Drive. We all look forward to that happening. But yeah, that might be a routine comment in there that the Traffic New South Wales have provided an amendment on, but it seems to me that if they wanted 3 lanes, it might be a challenge to put 3 lanes in there. So just an observation on that one. And I did have one other little small little matter. Trading hours. Condition number 95, it talks about trading hours of operation, I think from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. If in the instance there would be an addition to that trading hour, i.e. the week before Christmas, would that be an ironclad that a business couldn't increase trading hours beyond the 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. In those types of instances? And you can take that on notice, Mr. Mayor, because it might be a question difficult to answer right now, but it was just an observation that the 7 a.m. to 9 p.m, is it a flexible thing, or is it something that could be is ironclad?
Councillor Impey, I might just make one very quick comment in respect to the roads. Transport New South Wales have been heavily involved in the conversations around the road designs along with our people, and I think that we'll have to rely on their expertise, but I might ask Sam to make a comment, unless you wanted to make a comment, Peter, on that, roads.
The only thing I'll clarify, Mr. Mayor, is that there won't be a 3-lane roundabout. The next level of treatment, if the 2-lane roundabout is determined to be, not adequate, would be traffic signals.
Would you like to comment on the trading hours?
Yeah, just through you, Mr. Mayor, just in relation to that condition, that is a nominated hours from the applicant, and that's generally how that would be applied into a condition of consent, and it is a hard and fast condition. So if there are any suggested changes or requested changes, that might be a modification to the consent. The only other potential, if there are some overarching state government rules around trading hours that have happened in the past. I know we had this through COVID, where they opened up a lot more businesses through some other separate legislation. That has happened in the past, but it is a hard and fast condition as stipulated in their own application. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Councillors, any further comments on item 7.1? That being the case, I'll put the recommendation with a show of hands. All those in favour say aye. Those against, carried unanimously. Councillors, we now move on to item 8, 9, 11, no reports. We move into item 11, reports to be considered in closed council. And before I ask the Karen has there been anyone request that item be moved into open council?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Has anyone in the audience wishing our closed council matter to be moved into open council? There not being, then I will call for a motion to move into closed council. Moved Councillor Sutherland, seconded Councillor Bard. All those in favour say aye. Now we'll move into closed council, and I thank those in the audience for attending, and thank you, Steve, for your presentation. Oh, you're going to the pub? Councillors, we're all back in the room and I might call on Karen to make a report on the items in closed business.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Item 12.1 in closed item of council was as per the business paper. Thank you.
Councillors, could I get a motion to accept? Councillor Budd, second to Councillor Sharpen. All those in favour, say aye. Aye. Councillors, that closes the meeting. Thank you for your attendance.